I'm seriously, I don't know if you're going to harm yourself. And it scares me because I don't know what you're going to do to yourself. And then also add to it.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're talking to you guys about love and marriage, DC, and I saw the title of Beyonce in there. She ain't gonna do that to me tonight. We're still doing still doing love and marriage, DC, and we're talking about episode 5. And we breaking down this latest episode. So much to go through, and really great content. I say content, but really great reality TV, because there was some really great storylines being embedded and things that really can actually speak to our community as well. So I really enjoyed this latest episode. So I hope you guys also enjoyed it too. But we're gonna talk a little bit about this episode. I'm joined by my co-host, Jay, another round. I'll say a militant general on these sides when it comes to this show specifically as well. She be giving that elite content. You know what I'm saying? She gonna start charging for that. How you doing,
I'm
baby?
gonna have to. I'm gonna start to charge it to the game, charge it to my heart,
Change
not
to the
my
game.
mind.
Gotta charge
Hey
it.
everybody. Hey. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode as much as we did. Trust and believe.
Trust
It had
me.
me feeling like the best man holiday, where I was like angry, happy, sad, laughing, crying. Like it was giving, this episode definitely gave. Like it definitely gave.
It ate, as they would say. It
Yes.
ate. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot to get through. So we're gonna go through it. We're gonna go through it. But if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. Ding ding. You want to know when we upload, so make sure you press on that button, baby. All right, cool. We're gonna get into this conversation. I think there's gonna be some great stuff here. I think it's gonna help a lot of people when we discuss some of the stuff here. So we're gonna go through, I guess, the first part, which was Jamie, big Jamie, little Jamie, intervention by the family, which was quite a scene to behold. So we're gonna get into that. Let's have a little look at that as well. Have a look at this little scene as well. Once it decides to play ball.
I'm tired of this roller coaster ride between you two. Some days y'all are good. 2 weeks later, y'all are mad at each other. How long is this gonna go on? And y'all need to do something. And I need.
All righty. So this particular scene, we had the intervention going on for little Jamie. And we saw, big Jamie break down. He ended up crying. Grandma was crying, sis was crying, he was crying. I mean, he was barely crying, but everyone else was pretty much crying. So I want to get your thoughts, Jay. What did you glean from this particular scene, and what was speaking to you, man?
Listen, it was hitting from every angle for me.
Trust
Okay,
me.
because it took me back to my childhood days. It took me back to parenting my child as a child, like when in her childhood days. So I was hit by every facet of it because I, for a time, felt like little Jamie, where it was just like everybody coming at me and I don't know what to do. I don't. And so that pressure I felt in the moment, but I also now having the wisdom and the place of mind where I'm at now know that running and retreating and hiding in your shell is not the best thing, because everybody is actually there for you. They're not attacking you. And it does feel like that when everybody keeps coming at you and it's you, and the first you hear, you automatically shut down. So you don't hear anything else. When they're saying, I love you, I'm here for you, I want to help you, all you heard was the you ain't doing this, you ain't did that, you ain't, and you're missing the whole point of the whole conversation, which is we see better in you. We need you to see better in yourself. And we want better for you. So show us how we can help you better yourself, because that's why we're all here. The tears are pouring because I love you. The tears are pouring because what I see you doing, the road I see you going down, I see nothing but danger for you, and I want to save you from it, but I can't. because you won't let me. And as soon as he got up and run away and all this, it was like, in that moment, I wanted to scream at the TV. I felt like Big Jamie. I actually felt like Big Jamie, and I actually understood where Big Jamie was coming from all this time. It's just, now you're running for attention. We're giving you the attention, but now you're running some more. Stop. Because this is what the problem is. You keep running, and you can't run from yourself all of your life, because this is what all you're running from is yourself. You're not running from us. You're running from you. And so when Big Jamie had actually suggested, let's go get therapy, that wasn't an attack on you. The therapy is, I might be doing something wrong too. We're going together. I'm not telling you to go do it. Now, it came out harsh. If you don't do it, I'm not giving you an ultimatum. If you don't do it, you're getting put out of my house. Well, hell, if you get to telling me that your girlfriend is doing this, that, and the third, I'll give you that same ultimatum. I'm not going to even play with you. Because if you feel like you don't want to do therapy with me, go do it with your girlfriend. And no matter where you at, pack your stuff up and go live with her. But I want us to be a functioning unit. So this is what I need us to do. And if you don't want to do this last rule, as long as you're living in my house, you got to go. And I don't know what household in the Black community works that you can do whatever you want in their home and you can get away with it. Every Black household, I don't care how old you go, if you go back to that house, you always welcome back, but it's still their rules because it's their house. So that was his final rule. Like, if you don't want to follow this final rule, I'm asking you, but it's not really an ask, it's a request. Let's go to therapy, or please leave my premises and we'll be fine, or whatever. But you're not going to keep playing this victim and making your grandmother cry, me cry, your mom cry, your sister cry, everybody crying because of you, a grown man. That's not what we want to do. We got to fix this. We got to fix this. I didn't want to have this intervention. You know, Jamie didn't want to be there. You know damn well Big Jamie didn't want to be there. So it's just like, come on, man. He's holding in his pride. He's sucking it up. He's actually having an actual conversation with you, what you wanted. Oblige. So a lot of this part of the episode was me not really being too happy with little Jamie's behavior. I was actually really proud of Big Jamie, because this is what we've been screaming for the last year or whatever. So, you know, it's like, just learn different ways to talk to him. And now that he's open up to do it, you got to be open with your father, because you guys do love each other. There is love there. There's a relationship that can be repatched and refixed and reshaped into something new, because the relationship now is we're two men coexisting. So that's the new relationship. We're not father and son, so to speak. We're still that, but it's a different dynamic. We're men now. So let's build that relationship and foster that moving forward and leave the past behind. We can't, as we seen with Ashley last week, sometimes we just can't change some of the stuff in the past. We just got to leave it there and see if we can build anew. And that's what
Thank you, Jay. No, absolutely, man. I think, you know, like you're saying, I was defending little Jamie, I think, the past few weeks, last 4 or so. But this week I was like, brother, when they rip off all the bandages, sir, I'm going to need you to stand on your own 2 feet. Okay. So I saw more of Big Jamie's side and where he was coming from, and why he was so frustrated with little Jamie. And I could see why he was in angst, right? And I think just seeing Big Jamie as well, more emotionally, I guess, affected by little Jamie, I think that also was eye-opening. I think that also made us more empathetic towards Big Jamie as well, that, you know, okay, we're seeing some emotion. You do care. You do appreciate your son, you know? And I think if I'm thinking that, I can only imagine what little Jamie's thinking. Finally, I get to see some emotion from you. Maybe there's something that can change. But it was interesting to see how little Jamie took on the therapy, thinking the therapy was solely for him. You know, and, you know, Big Jamie was like, no, I told you it was for both of us. Like, you know, I'm going to do it as well. there's things that I need to change. And I think that was a catalyst, a little spark, a little seed in the mind of little Jamie. And I think this is for anybody out there. Like, I think many of us have suffered like this with a parent, and you're just looking for a little bit of accountability, just a little bit of accountability where, we didn't see this with Ashley's mom. Ashley's mom said, no, baby, I didn't leave you even though I wasn't in the house. Okay, I didn't leave you. And clearly she did. And when someone doesn't take accountability, it is heart-wrenching and it's reality distorting, because what you're really saying is, I must be mad. You must be mad to think that's how it went down, because for sure that's not how it went down. But to see Big Jamie saying, hey, look, you know what, maybe the way I'm handling things is wrong also. Let me look at the way I'm doing things. Now, of course, it's always better late than never. You know what I mean? Maybe if they had this intervention years ago, they would have not lost as much time in their process. And I think that's why I said it's a lesson for all of us. Is like, you know what, I don't want to have distance with my child or even a parent. So maybe, if we could get them into therapy, this could be life-saving. So anybody watching and kind of looking about their family, this could be life-saving, because once they realize that, we both can actually learn and grow, these two have started to started to mend their relationship a bit more. Just to see how they gathered around him, the grandma, the sister, when he went to the stairwell, I think that's what was really more emotional. You see everybody in that crowded space, just trying to love on him. You know what I mean? Just trying to show him the love and look, we're here for you. We actually are. We're not your enemies. We're here for you. And to be fair, what he got there was luxury, because some of us would have been left hella alone. We're like, oh, they're for another tantrum. Let him go. He's for another tantrum. You know what I mean? So what he's getting is a lot of love that a lot of people didn't receive. But that doesn't mean that we're taking away from what he's experienced. Of course, I think Big Jamie's anger, children are affected in different ways. Some kids can fight it. Some kids will try to avoid it. Some kids try to be funny and try to, dissuade it from happening. And clearly for him, it shuts him down. And, we saw that shutdown in the first beginning of the show. And we saw how he was unable to kind of respond. And I was sad as well that he was unable to respond a little bit, but it's because he shuts down, and he needs that safe space to be able to come out of his shell and be able to say what's on his mind. And we kind of got that when we got the beginning of that when he got to the counselor. So I'll play a little clip of actually when the counselor got there, and then we'll discuss a bit more again, because that was a very good discussion as well with the counselor, if I even get to that part.
While you're looking for that part, I'll address Darika's thing, because so Darika, me and Kojo was kind of talking about it earlier, and I had stated like I was in a dark space like this. I wasn't using it to get attention, and it's hard with this generation nowadays because they're more vocal when they're going through their dark phases than we were, so, and I say we were for like my age generation, but it's a catch-22. It's like you need to pay him attention, but as we've seen, this is not the first time he's been doing it. So this is kind of why Big Jamie is in a position of saying he just wants attention. A lot of times, most of us that are really in these dark phases, we don't really mention it out loud. You just have to catch it or whatnot, unfortunately. But there are telltale signs that we are going through something, because when we do shut down like that, when we do go very distant, where we do fight everybody, sometimes we need to check on that child to make sure that they're okay. Sometimes when they're too happy, they're too joyful, and they're not really expressing the dark sides of themselves. That's also a problem too, because some of us overcompensate in positives, but they're really fighting within. So I think what we need to do as parents more so is just constantly check in with our child's mental state, because we don't know. We really don't know what pushes these people, because the problem is when these people do it, we don't get a chance to ask them, well, why did you do it? It's kind of too late. So we have to check on them while they're still here to make sure that they know that they don't have to go that route. We're here for them. So I don't know. It's hard to say which is manipulative. And when they do it, I think if they just keep saying it, they just keep saying it over and over, and they always just say it just to get under your skin all the time, or just to get a reaction out of you, then yeah, it might be manipulative. But if you actually just hear them say it one time, but you've been noticing signs of them pulling away, I would check on that.
That's good. I won't add any more. I think you answered that correctly. Let me bring up a bit of the clip and we'll discuss.
I'm ecstatic to hear the doctor get on my dad about everything that I may not have known how to say. So I know that my dad being a detective has always affected, the relationship that he's.
Interesting. I thought it was interesting. I think his body language is even interesting. His body language looks like somebody who is shutting down. I'll be honest with you. When he was sitting there talking to the counselor, his body language is giving I'm shutting down even as well. So it's interesting how when you kind of look back on it retrospectively, like, oh, okay, no, wait, his body language is off. In that moment, it's not even. It doesn't scream confidence in that moment as well. So I think that's quite an interesting kind of scenario that we saw. I think one of the biggest things, obviously, with Big Jamie, their counseling coach conversation was that the counselor also did a good job of holding Big Jamie accountable, didn't shirk the responsibility, but also as well didn't do it in such a way that everything is Big Jamie's fault. Like, nah, player, you're gonna have to take some responsibility for what you need and how much you're involved in the situation as well. So I think that was a good, healthy balance that he brought to the table as well. But he definitely called out Big Jamie and his behavior, especially when he told him, listen, you would have grown up. So don't try to say like, oh, you were drunk. I don't care. He said, I don't care. You would have grown up. And, that was needed as well for Big Jamie to not try and excuse his behavior as well.
Yeah, it was a passive move to try to say, I said what I said, but I didn't really mean what I said. But no, you did, because you said what you said. And sometimes we do that. I wasn't in my right mind that day, or I didn't do this. No, but you said it. And it doesn't excuse that you went off on your child at that moment. Yes, you were angry because of what he said, but your reaction causes another reaction. Sometimes we can't react to the first action that a person does in such manners. We can't overreact. Let's put it like that. We sometimes need to talk. And I think that's why little Jamie is so comfortable in this moment, because this man is not talking at little Jamie. He's talking to little Jamie. And so that's the difference sometimes that we have to have. I go back to that African proverbs that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, sometimes us being so close to our children are not always the best people to have certain conversations with our children. Just like, you guys were having the conversation the other day about, I stumbled in, I think you guys were talking about homeschool. I think it was you were talking about the difference of homeschool and that on the Pearl situation. And sometimes outside teachers or your village, you can't be that all the time, because you're already their police, you're the dictatorian, you're the president, you're your mom, your dad, you're all of these people already in their life. They need to hear some other people sometimes. And it's not a bad thing. You have to vet out the people that they're listening to or whatnot. And that's why he was seeking other people as far as the cool kids was concerned. Because those were just, I needed something different from my dad all the time, harping down. I need this, I just need something else. And sometimes when we're that overprotective parent, we're over shielding parent, we don't let our children be exposed to other things in the world. They push for it more. They want it more. I used to say preacher kids are this, you know what I'm saying? And I only say preacher kids because like my cousin grew up very strict. Her dad was very, very strict. And the more strict he was, the more wild she became, because she just wanted to do. She wanted to experience some stuff. And so sometimes you got to give your kids a little bit of room to move and maneuver in the world without you trying to be there holding their hand all the way. You could be behind them to catch them, but you can't be there just telling them, well, stand behind me. I don't want you to see this. You don't need to do that. You don't need to be here. You don't need to be with these people. Just give them the experience you had. Hey, when I did this, this happened. Now, it could happen differently for you because I told you it happened. But you got to go have the experience for yourself sometime. And sometimes that experience means talking to other people, having other people you feel more comfortable. Like I told you when I said my daughter has two other bonus parents. Well, I'm not going to tell her don't talk to them because she might feel more comfortable talking to them about certain things. What I have to do is build a rapport with them that they come and tell me, so I can be able to figure out a way to have that same conversation with my daughter in a space that makes her feel comfortable to be able to share it with me. And so that's all this doctor is going to eventually do, is just build that bridge between both Jamies. And we have to do that as parents with the people that we put in a circle to respect, to have our kids for their village. We have to do that with the people. We have to vet them out. We have to have conversation. We have to have a community of trust that certain conversations may not come back to me, or if they do come back to me, if my child says respectfully, I don't want you to tell my mom, even if it comes back to me, I got to respect that I'm not supposed to really know. I have to figure out a way to get it out of them. So we can have the dialogue, because I really want to have the dialogue, but I can't just be like, well, such and such told me, because that violates their trust now. So as parents, we're constantly juggling different aspects with our kids to try to get information out of us, but we have to trust the people that they have in their village that are good people for them. So this doctor, I think it's Carrington. I can't remember his name. I think it's Dr. Carrington. I think he does a really good job of holding both men accountable for themselves. Because he even went at little Jamie too. He's like, what's holding you back? And he gave him time to think about it. And he was like, you. He didn't say it mean or nothing like that. He just made it in a realization way. You're holding yourself back. Your fear for whatever it is, and that's what we got to tap into. What's this fear of holding you back from being the greater self that you can be? And when I was actually listening to it, I think he just doesn't want to leave the nest. I think he really knows it's comfortable there. He just does not want to leave. I don't know.
I agree. I think there's a lot of comfortability there. That's probably why Big Jamie wants him out. It's like, you too comfortable, you're getting things paid for, your money, and I think that's where it gets difficult. It's like, how long do I have to keep paying for these things? Not because I don't want to, but because you're grown and you've got wings, and I'm still propping you up. How many times can I throw you out the nest? You know what I mean? Like, how many times can I throw you out the nest before you start flying? And I think that's where also where it can be difficult as well for Big Jamie, Little Jamie as well, in the situation. I think Little Jamie, I'll be honest, looking back at it, like I said, I see some entitlement and some spoiled issues from Little Jamie. And why I say that is that it's made him to a place where he doesn't know how to go forward, right? Whereas a lot of us find this out from very young, whether we're forced into it or whether, you gradually get into it, maturity as age comes along. I feel like Little Jamie's still lost. It feels like Little Jamie's, it's like when you ask like a little kid, like, after they finish their exams, what do you want to do? And I'm not really sure, I'm just trying to get through this next phase. Where that's how it feels like for Little Jamie, where it's like 26 now, are you going to get a job? What kind of job do you want to get? Like, there's an aimlessness that I guess can be frustrating for Big Jamie too. So I guess talking to the counselor was really good, because I think it's finally somebody who believes in him, somebody who's not going to berate him and shout him down when they're talking to him. And I think that's why he wanted to give the number to the counselor, because he finally realized somebody else could speak life into him rather than speaking, demotivation into him. And I think that's why the counsel was so important for him, especially when he said, obviously, Big Jamie should leave the room. I think, again, just showed again once more, someone actually cares about me. Someone's actually thinking about me. Someone's actually put me first. Someone wants to actually listen to me and hear me. And I'm sure little Jimmy doesn't want to make excuses. But you know, I think when you're berating me and I'm trying to figure it out, after a while I can just give up before I really try. Because what's the point? You're screaming and shouting at me and I'm shutting down. What's the point of even trying to figure this out if you're gonna keep on screaming and shouting at me? You know? And then when I don't do it also too, then I get another shouting at myself or another insult coming towards myself. It's like, what's the point? Why do I put myself through that situation? I'm just gonna shut down, you know. But it's frustrating watching from the other end. Like, come on, bro, 26 now. No, even if you don't leave the house, you're telling us you got a girlfriend. Where's your job? What do you want to do as a job? Even if you work at McDonald's, you're starting somewhere. You know what I mean? You're saying it's a start somewhere, and I think that's the biggest issue with him. Is like, are you gonna start or are you gonna stay where you are? And I think that's also what the council's asking. Like, you got to take stock of where you at.
Yeah, this was a thing that my dad did with me. He had my auntie sit me down. And it wasn't as much frustration as I got from my dad, but there was a little bit because of course she's still close to me. She wants the best for me, but we was able to sit down and just think logically of what a successful plan would be going forward for a career. And we sat there like for a couple of hours just trying to figure it out. And sometimes, like I said, we need that someone just a part of the village. It doesn't have to necessarily be a total outsider. It could be a family member, but just somebody that we feel comfortable sitting down and just figuring it out. Because Arena asked the questions, what do you want to do? Well, what do you want to work? And it's still, I don't know. So it's just a matter of sitting down and let's figure out what you're good at. What you feel you're good at? Because, okay, in today's world, we can make a job out of whatever you're good at. That's the beauty of today's world. So sometimes we do, like, I'll be looking like, why is it so hard? Because you guys got everything access to you right now. It shouldn't be hard. But with social media and stuff, you realize that how everybody puts their life on display makes everybody, what I'm looking for? I don't want to say the wrong thing, but mentally they're not as strong as you would think they are, they should be, because they're steady comparing their lives with everybody on social media. And I've noticed that is what's the problem in today's society with a lot of people, is that we're not just looking at ourselves so much anymore like we used to. We used to just we had our neighborhood and we compared ourselves to our little neighborhood. Now you're comparing yourself to millions in the world in a now time. And we have to deal with, I think, with our kids, with that change. And for me, being a parent from the gap year, where it was a transition where we had little technology to a mass volume of technology now, I had to learn the difference in teaching my child, how to navigate the reality and what's not. And, what people put on social media is not always their real life. And you can't keep comparing yourself to all of these things. And I think a little bit of little Jamie does that, is comparing himself to everybody moving around him instead of focusing on himself more so, because he really has no clue of himself as to even what he wants to do going forward.
You ain't tell no lies. All right. Let me move on the scene, and we'll talk about another situation that happened. DJ Quick, his situation was also interesting.
From school for fighting.
Somebody stole his jacket. He went to get his jacket back. I don't see what the issue is. I don't even feel like he should have been suspended. I did not believe him when he first told us that he got suspended. He has never been in serious.
DJ Quick and his particular son. Interesting situation, because Quick is always seemingly comparing his son to little Jamie. What was your thoughts of this?
Stop comparing your son to people. This is just exactly what I was just talking about. We're comparing people and stuff. Don't do that. Stop comparing your parenting style with Jamie's parenting style. Is different. All of our parenting styles is different. All of our children turn out different. You can have 3, 4, 5 children in the same home, grow up different. I know twins grow up different. Kids are just going to be who they are because they are little people themselves. You know, they have their own perspectives. From the time that they're born, we start teaching them different things, and they learn different things because we're growing and we're learning as we're raising them. So whatever we're learning, they're learning. When we have another child, we're learning something different. So that child learns something different. Everybody is grooming these children to be something different. So I don't really like when people compare children. I don't even care if it's their own children. I just really don't like doing it. Is my child is like this and your child is like, okay. In a couple more child in a couple more years, your child might be vice versa of what my child is today. My child is going to have a testimony because my child at 15 been getting into trouble and locked up and all this stuff like that. So by the time he get 30, he'll have a testimony for the next children that is doing the same thing. Let my child be. Focus on yours. Right now, your child isn't getting in trouble. And I'm not saying he intentionally went to look for trouble, because he didn't, but he got in trouble. So stop sitting there saying, oh, little Jamie is an entitled kid and he this, that, or whatever. Okay. Well, your kid can be considered spoiled by somebody else. Or your kid can be considered bad by somebody else. Or they can be the next best thing to slice bread to somebody else. It doesn't matter. What we need to focus on is our yard. Stop looking at somebody else's yard. Right now, my kid is getting in trouble. Let's address this right now. I don't care what other people kid doing. That's the one thing I knew. I grew up in my house. I don't give a damn what the kids down the street doing. You better be over here when the sunlights come on. You better be at this house when that stuff happen. If these people do that, I don't care who kid they are. They not mine. And that was how I was raised. My dad did not care about other people's kids. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but it was just like when I got in trouble, nobody got in trouble with me. They didn't get a whipping with me. When I got ice cream, if they was at the house, maybe they'd get it with me. But if not, I got it by myself. Like, so it's not about comparing how we raise our kids to the other person, how they raise theirs. It's about how we correct our child in the moment. I do appreciate, though, quick having the conversation and having his kid understand the importance of doing certain things. I do agree with that. I do agree with him sitting him down and saying, see, this is not what we want to do, because this could happen. If he puts something in your bag, now you're over here fighting for the bag and the police stop you both. And now this is your bag, but he done put something in there. They're going to blame you. But we also have to have the self-defense talk too. We have to have a whole bunch of different talks that we have to have with our children living in this world, because we don't live in a polite, nice world where people just be like, oh, I found your bag. Here you go. So there's like lots of conversation. I appreciate Quick for having a conversation with him, but you know, I'm not going to tell him he can't do what he does with his child. That's his child. But I just would suggest stop comparing your child to the next man's child. You know, I don't think he'll like it so much if Big Jamie was to do that in reverse. And indirectly, it makes, I'm pretty sure it makes Big Jamie feel some type of way as a parent. I don't know. I wish my best friend would be like, well, I see how you parent. We be fighting. Sorry. Verbally, because we not physical fighters.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right, man. Listen, DJ Quick's situation with, you know, sometimes I think DJ Quick just, he probably just forgets himself, you know, because I think he sees parts of Jamie's behavior and thinks maybe he's a little bit better than what he sees Big Jamie do. So I think sometimes what happens, he just kind of compares himself to Big Jamie and says, you know what, Big Jamie does too much, I don't do too much. So clearly I don't want to say better parent, but yeah, a better parent in the back of your mind. Mm-hmm. You think that your parenting, I should say, maybe not better parent, your parenting is better. And so I would say as well, sometimes you don't need to say these things out loud. Sometimes you need to keep quiet because we all have dark thoughts. And sometimes they just don't need to come out. They need to stay in your brain and let them stay there. You understand? We all have those thoughts of envy, jealousy, and we just don't let them out. You know, sometimes you just got to just hold it down and not say anything. So the fact that he said something is what made it also a problem. It's like, well, why are you thinking that? But then why are you saying that? You know what I mean? And, you know, of course, DJ Quick's, you know, son, you know, like you said, there's different upbringings and different circumstances also. And I can see that the Big Jamie thing though is affecting DJ Quick. It's affecting him a lot. Because I think he sees the end result of a child that's undisciplined or he might think is undisciplined and isn't growing the way he should. And he's like, I don't want to see that for my son. You know what I mean? And I think also as well, because he's so close to gun violence and he was so close to the streets and everything like that, he's like, one mistake will, you know, will cost you. But the reality is you're inducing a bit of fear too, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't be weary in terms of the fact that things can happen, but it was okay, of course, his bag, of course, something mad could have happened, but it's like, bro, he can't not do anything forever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, if everything becomes that great grand story, you know, it becomes a bit problematic. It's like, I went to grab my bag. Because I was gonna take his bag because I wanted to get my thing back. Well, you never know. There could be a bazooka in there, and you know, one day he could blow up the school. I hear that, but I can't do that for everything. You know what I mean? He took my pencil, so I took his pen. Of course, it's a bit petty, but now it's like, well, if you took his pen, how do you know what he could do? He could now pull out a gun and shoot you. It's like, bro, like, I get what you're saying, but it can't be everything that becomes, you know, that everything becomes extravagant in terms of the way that someone could react to it. I do get it, but it can't be always an extravagant response. It doesn't bode well, you know, for little man, and he might feel some type of way as well. It's like, I can't win. I defend myself. I can't win. Like, I'm not gonna. I've been told, obviously, yeah, you know, when I do defend myself, that, you know, I'm in the wrong. So then he can sometimes feel boxed in. There's no perfect way, of course, but you can feel boxed in, you know, because you're only trying to do what you feel is best to do. You're not trying to get bullied. You're not trying to get played, and you're letting people know, hey, I'll take your bag if you take my thing. Like, and if they're going to suspend me for that, I'm looking at a school a bit wacky. Go on for it.
It's crazy because I don't know if your parents did it, but it was always, don't put your hands on nobody, but if they put your hands on you, defend yourself, you know? And so that means your property too. And that's how we were raised. And I get it nowadays that it's a little scary to go there because people now carry extra things to potentially unalive you. But then do you have the flip side? If you don't stand up for yourself, sometimes they continue to bully you and run over you. So, like you said, there is no win-win perfect situation in it. We're all like living, reacting, and learning at the same time as this thing is evolving. The world is evolving. So you just got to pray that you have taught your child enough roundedness to know which situations they need to encounter and stand up for themselves and which situations they kind of need to just walk away from. And I think that's like probably the best general learning advice that you can give a parent going by is, you know, you give your child enough awareness to be able to survive without you, you know, it being there in that situation to protect them all the time. You know, so that if that means defending myself in this moment, if I think I could take you, then I'll go for it. But if I feel like I'm not going to be able to win the situation, then I just need to walk away. That's the type of, like, I don't know. And like I said, I don't really like to tell people how to parent their child because I'm learning. I only got one, so I don't have the best track record experience. I did pretty good with the one, but I can only imagine if I had another. Probably be over here talking about, oh my God, I feel Big Jamie. So
No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, and especially as well, especially as a kid though, you hate being compared to as well. So, when a parent does, oh, you don't be like so and so, or be more like so and so. It's frustrating when you hear that comparison because you're not seeing me for me,
Yeah.
but you trying to see me as someone else, and I can only be me. You know what I mean? So, definitely, I think DJ Quick sometimes might be operating from a place of fear. Sometimes he's afraid because obviously, like again, he's been through some stuff. So I'm not even I'm not even trying to be so hard on him like that per se. But of course, he's been through some stuff, so it does affect the way that he views the world and what he sees. He might notice more of the imminent danger because of what he's been through. But yeah, it's quite interesting, especially when he talks about obviously Ashley not telling him, but she tells him everything, but didn't tell him about the situation. And I think, as she said, because it was nothing, like he, in her eyes. But DJ Quick was like, no, gotta let him know that, like he's hell bent on making sure that he doesn't be spoiled almost. And sometimes that can also go the wrong way,
Yeah.
that can go the complete opposite way. So,
And it's weird because he judges even Ashley the way Ashley raised him, and it's just like I get it and I don't, because we're all raised different. So when we meet somebody who had similar backgrounds but went through different experiences in that background, it still shapes the way we parent. And not all of us really grow up the same way to say, okay, this is what our rules is and this is how strict we gonna be, and we both align with it. A lot of times one parent is kind of like conforming or secretly doing things for the kid, in the background, because we have a way that we always want to raise our children compared to how we were raised. And I get it. He didn't really get that for too long, especially in these teen years his son is now in. And so it does play a little bit of difference on how he wants him to be so independent. But you want him to be independent, but he has to tell you everything. Or somebody has to tell you everything about him. It's like, which one do you want? You're kind of double talking your parenting right now because you don't know. And that's the scary, and it's a scary part, and it's the beauty of parenting. You just don't know. You're making a work of art and hoping by the end it's beautiful. And that's what you just do. And you just, like I said, you just got to instill the best tools in your kid at an early age, just to say, you know what, I trust you in this world. And I think for Quick, he needs to start showing that he does trust his son in some areas, that he's going to be okay. And if he makes mistakes, it's just part of life. We just need to learn, how do we correct them as a man on our own growing forward? I don't know. It's something. I just don't want him to keep comparing. Just stop, because you're kind of, like somebody said in the chat, that you're ruining your kid in a way, because it does help play on their mental sometimes too. And that's what creates insecurities, where we start looking at the rest of the world and we don't know why we're comparing ourselves to the rest of the world, but it starts with our parents doing it. Our parents started comparing us. So now we're competing with everybody in the world instead of competing with ourselves. And so, yeah, we have to watch it sometimes.
I hear you on that. All right, let's move it on to more crazy settings. Let's move it on to the beef. La beef. La beef.
La
Let's move on to the beef.
La pate.
Down the street, I got stabbed a block up. The fact that I made it out of here, like this is a walking testimony.
Growing up in the 80s and 90s, that area was not the best. A lot of bad stuff happened on that street. Really just hits me on all I've been through.
I mean, I showed the wrong part of the clip, but this led up to the beef. The beef that happened between obviously
They was on Shady Ave. They was on Shady Ave and Be More. And Be More in the 80s used to be. And when a woman starts talking like this and telling you how she feel,
you know what it is. At that point, I said, "Oh no, baby, don't do it." So Sherelle and obviously Arena got into it, which is just really weird. Like, I don't know. Of course, again, people got to do their storylines, I guess. Because I just felt like it was the beef from Sherelle's side was so extra. But then I thought to myself, Rena's response felt a bit extra too. But I was like, baby. But what was your thoughts in this beef? The La Beef.
When everybody's serving up a patty, but it ain't going to the right table. I'm just trying to figure out why are we mad at each other when the problem is Joy and Black. That's where the issue lies. So why is everybody else getting in the middle of it and getting all wound up behind it because of the game of telephone? Now, I get Sherelle saying, if we're going to transcribe the message, let's be 100% accurate with the words. But everything that Joy basically said translated to shady. Let's be honest. She said he was manipulative. He was doing bad business. All of that in the hood, when we could say it in the hood, you're shady. That's what it is. So I didn't understand why we nitpicking on the word use instead of addressing Joy and the fact that she called your husband manipulative and this, that, and the third. And then these two are standing right here. And I get Black saying he don't want to do it. He don't want to take away from the event, which was respectable. And I appreciate him for that. But at the same time, you stood by your wife right next to her and didn't try to silence her not once. Like, baby, not right now. This is about quick. You didn't try to stop it at all. So you might as well just had the conversation with Joy right there and just got it all done and over with instead of Arena and Sherelle going back and forth. And the only thing I didn't like about Sherelle in this instance and in the instance when she sat down with Joy is Sherelle overtalks. She doesn't want to hear anybody once it gets started. So it's like, why try to clear the air with her sometimes? You know, I love her energy. She has a big personality, but it's too big in these type of moments. And it's just like, if you want the truth, you have to be quiet sometimes and just listen. And Sherelle doesn't seem to know how to do that. So to me, I'd be questioning, do you really want the truth? Or do you just want to keep stirring the pot and just be? Because she has a very big personality, so I don't think she needs beef to be on this show. She's not quiet. You see her personality when she walks into the room. So it's that whole, when she's trying to relay it to Winter, I don't even want to talk it because I'm going to get all riled up on the inside. For what? This person said your husband was shady. Find out why. Now I get the, well, never mind, because that's what she said in the live, and that's after the fact because she didn't hear Joy when she called her a side piece, so she don't know nothing about that part. But, you know, like, there's some parts of it I get. But if they say your husband shady, he manipulative, he doing this, find out why. And just like she was telling Joy, well, I know him now. Okay, but Joy knew him then. And that's that's the person that Joy is stuck on. That's the time frame Joy is stuck on, and she hasn't moved up yet. So help her move up by finding out why she feels like Black from back then was such a problem, and show her how Black now has changed, because she hasn't been in that gap that you've been in. You know, so I feel like if Arena and Sherelle really wants to fix this situation, they need to step out of it and let these two actually have a sit down. And if you want to be part of it, mediate like a mediator should. Do you hear what this person is saying? Okay, well, this person said this. And since Sherelle is so big on transcribing word for word, she should be the court reporter and be good at mediating exactly what was said so both parties can understand the other. But y'all just messed up this great moment for Quick, and I felt really bad for him. And I was glad Ashley didn't start swinging on everybody.
Yeah, I thought to myself, Sherelle, this ain't the right time. And, you know, she did a little, I guess, local post interview where she said, obviously, she knew it wasn't the right time. But it's like, no, but why couldn't you help yourself? Why couldn't you? It just wasn't, there wasn't the moment for it. Quick is even there trying to tell you guys to chill it. Why now? And it's like, I thought it was more false beef than anything. I think the producers wanted to have a little massive scene, but it just didn't even make sense, because it's like, your beef isn't really with Arena. Your beef is actually with Joy. Joy described your man in a particular way, and that's why I said, like, I feel like it's a full storyline. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a full storyline. I don't think it's real. Because it's like, how did you miss it completely? Joy is describing your man as being thing, and you're taking the being pissed about the fact that she called your man shady. Okay, great. Well, once she explains to you and says, this is what Joy said actually about your man, selfish, which Joy does admit to her, your beef isn't even with Arena. Your beef ain't with Arena. It was Joy who said those words. Arena just kind of reinterpreted it, and I don't think it was far from the truth, to be honest, because the things she mentioned meant shady. So this beef with Arena makes no sense to me. You should be beefing Joy.
Yeah. And she's right there.
And she's right there.
That's what I'm saying. It's like she's right there. All you had to do was turn to her and say, what did you say? And you cleared everybody. Okay, Arena, she said these words. Please, next time, use the exact words that she say. Thank you. But you referred to my man as this, and the third. So what is that about? Because when you sat down with Joy, Joy opted out of the conversation by saying, oh, I didn't say that. And you got to watch people. You got to watch people like that, because that's a good little tactic right there when you get caught up and you're going to look for that fine detail. Oh, well, that right there. Yeah, I know. Oh, I was cheating. Oh, I had on a blue shirt. No, baby, I had a red shirt on today. You see me, I had a red shirt. Baby, I know it was you. Blue shirt, red shirt, whatever the case was. I know it was you. Okay.
Don't try me.
Don't try me. And that's the little details. It's like, okay, but what did you say about? And that's what in that conversation when she sat with Joy, it was like you never asked her what she actually said, though.
Yeah.
You said something for Arena to come back and say shady, though. That's my problem. So what did you say? I'll address Arena about translating it to shady, because I don't appreciate that. But all that animosity she had, it was for Joy. Joy was there. So why are we not addressing Joy in this moment? She's standing right there. And then even Joy, like, they all looking at me. Don't put me up in it. It's you.
It's you. Yeah, you said it.
The beef is because
with your chest. With your chest.
Like you said that you don't use the word hate and you hate this man. And I'm like, she didn't even say all that. Well, at least we didn't see that Arena said all that back to you. But the beef is with Black, and they the two quietest people over here. Black and Joy, the two quietest people over here. Watching you two go at it for what? Now y'all spilling how y'all really feel about each other. Nobody likes you and this, that. Like, what? So do y'all really have a different beef? This is what's happening. Y'all really have a beef about something else, and y'all using their beef to set off y'all? That's great. Just hash out what y'all got a problem about then. That'd be better TV. If I was quick, if I was a Silvers, baby,
I would set it off.
Ooh, not today.
I was like, Joy didn't take no accountability for the fact that the words were very according to what she was saying. So Joy actually sent Arena to the hills as well.
Yes.
You know,
and then in her confessional said it a couple of times. Well,
it is even shady, she even admitted. So then why didn't you defend Arena and be like, this is not even Arena's fight. I did actually say that, and this is what made shady. Instead, you cleared your name and tried to play semantics with the words. You know, when they first had a meeting by saying, oh, no, I didn't say she was shady. She shouldn't have said that because that's not my exact words. Is that what you're pissed about? That Sherelle, that's what you're pissed about too, about one word. Sis, all the words that she used and described your man are underneath the umbrella of shady. This made no sense.
None.
So, yeah, the beef shouldn't not be with Arena. It should be with Joy. And I was wondering, are these two scared of each other? And let's say if it wasn't scripted. Let's say it wasn't scripted. I think it was scripted personally. But let's say it wasn't scripted. If we were to take a thingy, are you two scared of each other? I mean, you two are scared that one of, Joy is scared of her, but she's scared of her, Joy too. You know what I mean? Like, why are you guys not checking one of the... Why is Sherelle not checking on Joy, saying, Joy, it's Joy, you know what you said? And then why is Joy trying to pass it off like, you know what, it was Arena?
Yeah. That's what I didn't get it at all. And especially with the person right there. That's like the best, to me, that's the perfect opportunity to clear bit of the air with everybody. We're all here. So what is it you said?
That's what Dre asked for.
This what I said. Yeah.
That's what Dre asked for. She said everyone should be here if she wants to address it. That was the problem. That. Set that woman up.
She forgot that quick. Like she told you in that meeting, like, I'd rather we all be here. And so now we're all here. Literally, we're all here. What better time? I don't care if y'all went to the side and talked, but we're all here. So go ahead and have the conversation. I didn't understand it. I'm not going to, if me and you have a problem, Coach, I'm not going to go to Seaway and be like, well,
such
what did
such.
You say?
Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoa.
Woo, 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 woo. And we standing in front of each other. I'm not going to sit there and turn. Well, Seaway, what, unless I address it, Seaway, what did Kojo say? So we can all clear it right here.
Say what you said so we can go over it again.
Yeah, I'm not going to go back and have a conversation with you and then go to Seaway. Well, he said this and that and never address you again. Never address you again. And we're all right here to clear the air. That's why I'm like, I don't know if y'all really here to clear air, to make amends, to be friends, or just to be messy. Because at this point, I feel like y'all just here to be messy because we're not doing anything that's required to clear air in this moment. And why would you pick? I understand you want to hold yourself accountable after the fact, have some willpower, have some restraint, because you guys did it at this high point for Quick. That was very low of y'all. That was very low. Seriously, because that was Quick's moment. It wasn't about y'all and this mess that y'all not even clearing up. If y'all cleared it up, that would be different, but y'all didn't even do that. So that was just pointless. In front of the mayor. Well, hopefully the mayor was gone by that time, but like, y'all petty. Oh, child. Y'all a whole nother level of petty. I'd be hot. If I was Ashley, I'd really be ready to square up with everybody. I'll go catch this fade today because y'all talk about my man is this and my man is that. Well, y'all messed up my man's day. So let's everybody line it up. Everybody catch a fade. Let's go.
Literally, everybody catch a fade. Like, yo, just ruining days. I'm surprised Ashley, I was right. Ashley didn't get more involved, but it's funny as well. Who was saying something about, someone was saying about the way they were reacting. I can't remember who was it on the show.
Ashley said it and Android said it. And it was funny because they both kind of said the same thing. It was like, this one over here going and this one, Ashley said this one over here going and this one over here swinging her bob and stuff like that. And if they both get to swinging, then it'd be three of us out here swinging. Then Joy turned around and said the same thing. Well, they looking at me and I'm looking at them. And if they say something about me, I'm like, no. Because then it's all three of us out here. Like,
it would be mad. I can't lie to you. And I think Ash was like, how y'all going to be, it's on her confessional about them arguing so mad. I was like, babe, wasn't it not you not long ago on the last episode arguing with Winter? Like there was no tomorrow. Was it not you screaming and shouting the same way? Baby, don't try to put yourself above this. You in the same bracket. You in the same bracket. You out here shooting the same way they were shooting today. Don't try to put yourself above it.
You can't take these heifers nowhere.
No, you can't. I was like, yo. I was like, Ash, how you gonna be trying to put yourself on a pedestal? Baby, you was here last week just having a fight with Winter. And the fight was intense.
Letting it look, I think that's probably why she's letting it ride out and not intervening too much.
Yeah, I've done my part. This particular thing. I don't look too messy now. But I was like, baby, don't forget that you did a little something the last episode. Don't try to play act high and mighty now.
This is a continuous thing with y'all. Y'all just can't take y'all nowhere. Jeez.
Can't go to any event without y'all trying to bring the heat. It's to be expected. It is what it is. There will
be no couples trip for this cast.
No, there will not be. And if there is, winners sure won't be there. Then again, I say that next week's episode, thinking shows all the girls together again. I thought Ash was never gonna do this. I thought Ash was never gonna sit down with her and actually try and resolve things because she doesn't like her that much. And look where we are. Back in that space again.
Back in that space, but Ashley seems like the one that will actually listen to Winter because, well, we'll see. But next week it's Serena talking about, well, why is Winter here? And I'm just like, can y'all just give her the same energy y'all gave her at the workout? Just ignore her.
Like, oh, they back again. They back again. Yeah, that was mad. That was mad. Well, listen, we've come to the hour mark, so we've come to the end. Time is up for us. Listen, audience, thank you for joining into the live review. Enjoyed it, actually. It was quite fun actually having this conversation of Marriage. Can't wait because tonight. Wait, did Fresh Prince air tonight? I think it aired tonight. No, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow. Today for me, sorry, but tomorrow for you guys. It's out. So the season 2 will be back. We have to get our panel going for that as well. So if you watch the show Fresh Prince, we're gonna be reviewing that, baby. All right. But listen again once more. Thank you so much, guys. Make sure you guys have a good night tonight. It's been a good vibe, a good talk. We'll be back here next week again talking about episode 6 for you guys as well. Much love and appreciation. We'll see you guys very soon. But I won't leave you without, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna leave you without, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? I'm from